Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 71755, Temple of the Endless Sea from the LEGO Ninjago theme. This set contains 1,060 pieces, 7 minifigures, and will retail for $99.99 in the US. This is an all-new set, which may or may not be available now in your country depending on where you live. If you live outside of North America, this set probably came out on June 1st, but if you live within North America, this set is coming out on August 1st. So with all that being said, let's get into the review. So in front of me here is the main build of the Temple of the Endless Sea. You can see it's in like 5 distinct different sections, and these can all be rearranged if you want. So you have this small shrine right here, you have this little chained area to hold Wojira, you have the larger temple in the middle, you have this smaller area right there with a clam beneath it, and then you have like this little sentry post right here. These can each separate, and you can see there they are all separated, so you can rearrange them however you want. They each have a bar on one side and a clip on the other, so you can rearrange them however you like. You can have the temple, then everything else following it. You can just swap the sides of these two. Like, just genuinely any order you want to have these, you can rearrange them to be in that order. Or if you bought like 2 or 3 of the set, you could even make a full circle of these, which is a pretty cool option. But now that I've shown you how they all connect, let me show you each individual section by itself. So we'll start with the biggest one, the large temple building in the middle. This one has stairs to the entrance that lead you into the building. You can see they use gold bars for detailing on the stairs and like in the walkway out front. And I've definitely felt that in recent years, these gold bar pieces have been like really overused, like they put them in every single set. But I have to say, this is probably the best use of them I've seen in a while. They actually are meant to represent gold bars, I'm pretty sure, just like gold plating for this temple. And it looks great, it represents that really well, gives it this like really great nautical feel. You can see that there's 2 pillars coming up the sides, and they're coming out of these pieces right here. If you don't recognize these pieces, these are actually Metalbeard's beard from the LEGO movie, remolded in gold. They've used that just as a detailing piece a few times before, but I always love when they do that because it's such a specific piece, so being able to use it in just like regular situations is awesome. I really love this large like oval design at the entrance. I just really love that shaping. I think it looks great. Moving inside, you can see there's a statue on the side right here with this beard and this little bit of hair at the top. I'll take that out so you guys can see that closer, but that's a really cool build. There's like this little pedestal right here that holds the storm amulet. And then the other side's just empty, just has 1 gold bar for detailing. You get a better look at some of that when I turn this thing around. This pedestal or table area with Storm Amulet on it is actually made to be removed, so you can just take it off like this. You see it just connects with these 2 jumper pieces right here, and there you can see some more of the detailing in the interior. Not much going on, a few more of those gold bar pieces, and there's that statue on the side. This isn't meant to be removed, but you can remove it, so I'm going to. Here's that table with the Storm Amulet up close. You can see it's just covered in gold bars, and it has a clip with the Storm Amulet in the center. Below that, there's also a disc shooter. If you guys have never seen these before, just push back on the disc, and it flies out. Let me show you that with a different angle. And that's so that if you have someone walking up the stairs of the palace and you don't want them there, you can launch a disc at them, and that'll knock them over. The Storm Amulet itself is also actually new for this set. It looks very similar to the one that came in the Island sets earlier this year, but the one difference is it's slightly sparkly. It's a little bit hard to see in this light, but if I reflect it the right way, you can see there's a bunch of little tiny sparkles in there. And this looks great and looks so much better than the original. It's a very like subtle touch, but I love it. And I like that there's 2 versions of this too, because that's very similar to the show. Spoilers to the Island if you haven't seen it, but you can imagine the amulet from the Island being Clutch Power's fake Storm Amulet, and this one being the actual real Storm Amulet. So yeah, I love that they did something new with this one here instead of just re-releasing the same one we got earlier this year. This looks great, I love it. And there's that statue up a little closer if you guys were curious about that one. Below the disc shooter, you may have noticed this little lip coming out right here. That's actually another play feature and another trap for like anyone trying to enter the building. If you push in on it, these 2 spears will stick out the front. So once again, if anybody's trying to make their way in, you can put a stop to that. Moving up to the upper layer of this building. I think this is probably supposed to be Kalmaar's room. There's lots of room to post figures, specifically Kalmaar himself, with the like tentacle piece can actually fit in here. There's a stickered piece of a scroll on the wall with a picture of Wojira surrounding this little circle in the middle. And then on the other side there's this crystal piece and this ice cream or popcorn piece, whatever you want to imagine this as. I like the guard railing out the front, it looks really elegant. Stickered pieces below that, you got some tridents up the side, some sides coming out the sides of the roof. There's some arches coming out on each side, some more stickered pieces just for detailing here, here, and here. Above the room itself, you have these 2 pink lanterns on the wall, you have some more arches coming out, you have this singing fish on the wall, which I think is hilarious. That's such a funny thing to make into LEGO, and I think it fits perfectly here. It's so funny. It's genuinely just so much fun. And then the top of the building uses these teal tentacle pieces, this golden hat right here, this stickered symbol piece right there, and some golden tentacle pieces coming out the top. As a whole, I think this is a very solid center temple building. It looks really good and also has tons of room to post figures and multiple play features for you to interact with. Yeah, I like this one. Next, we'll go to this little turret station that was on the side. I like the design of this one. It seems to be sort of built into the natural terrain because you can see there's like rocks coming up the bottom right here. I like this trident out the front. You have 2 little streams of water coming out the sides, a little shell at the bottom. Around the back, there's a little jail cell, as well as 2 more of those pink lanterns like we saw in Kalmaar's room. I always really appreciate when sets include like little jail cells like this. It's a very simple feature, but I always loved when sets had things like this when I was younger. So as a collector today, whenever I see something like this, it always makes me smile. But yeah, you can open the door up and enter, and you can have one of the ninja trapped in there, or Benthomaar trapped in there, and then you can close it back up when you're done. There's more jail bars around the side for them to look out of, and that's on both sides. But if you're ready to break them free, you can push in on this little Technic toothpiece right here, and then it'll break the door open. And then there's nothing trapping them in the cell, and they can just be completely free. Above the jail cell's the actual turret area. The turret itself is just a spring-loaded shooter on a little robot arm piece with a spear design on top. It would look nicer if the turret was not gray and dark gray, but I don't think it looks bad and still fits in here. The spring-loaded shooters are blue, I guess, to represent water or lightning, and this thing can be rotated back and forth and up and down. Around the back, there's also 2 clips, one of which can hold an extra spring-loaded shooter bullet, which I actually really like that. A lot of times these just come extra in sets and I don't know what to do with them, so I appreciate whenever sets have a way to like actually hold them in place. And if you want to even unload the one from the cannon, you can put that one right here. 2 more of those archers on the side like we saw in the big temple. There's a little sticker Nexonite shield right here of one of the Merlopian symbols, and another sticker piece at the top which is very similar to the aesthetic of Wojira herself. Here's one more look at this build from the front, but I don't have much else to say about it. The next part of the build is really cute. It's this little shrine. You can see there's a little bit more water coming up. There's this clam in the middle, and if you push down on the back of this clam, there's a pearl inside. The pearl piece is just Mysterio's head or helmet from LEGO Spider-Man, but it works well as a pearl, and I think that's just such a fun and simple play feature. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing going on with that. A very similar stickered piece at the top right here, but other than that, just like a rocky formation around it. You can push back on the clam manually, or you can pull this lever back to have it open like permanently. And here's how it looks with the mouth like actually stuck open from the front. The next build is Glutinous's little laboratory, and I really like this one. This one's one of my favorites. You can see there's 2 more water streams coming out the side, another little hermit crab shell right there, and if we turn around you can see there's a little desk. There's some different vials on it. These could be different potions or things to like attempt to awaken Wojira. There's like a little stickered carpeted design on the floor which looks pretty cool, and then he's just got a sai attached to a clip in case I guess he needs a weapon. Another really simple build, but I think this looks really good, fits Glutinous perfectly, and I'm just really glad Glutinous got his own area in this set. This is great. And then finally for the different areas of the temple we have this area right here that houses Wojira. There are these 2 golden pillars on the side with these chains coming out of them, and these chains connect up to these golden attachments on Wojira's body with these robot arms on them to show that Wojira is being held in place here. But if you're ready to unleash her, or you just imagine she's broken free, these gold parts pop right off. Wojira herself is actually also built with a play feature, so you can see that there's this rounded Technic piece right here. If you rotate this, it'll actually knock both of those gold attachments off of her at once. And then Wojira herself can be removed from the base of the build. Here's how it looks without Wojira on it. There's honestly not much going on here. Just have those 2 pillars with the tridents coming out of them, a little bit of terrain at the bottom. You have 1 hermit crab shell right here, and there's how those parts that attach to her body look. One thing I have found is if you're trying to move this around while Wojira's attached, these golden pillars do come off very easily. They're just on a hinge piece like this, so you can move them up and down, but you can see just like that, I wasn't even trying to get it to fall off, and it just fell right off. The way these gold bars connect to this hinge isn't very sturdy, so that's just something to keep in mind, like if you're going to play with this. But that's mostly just an annoyance. It's never bothered me too much. And there's a look at this build from the other side. And now we move on to Wojira herself, which I'm not sure how to feel about her. I do like the overall look of her. I think she looks really good and it captures her look in the show fairly well. But she reminds me a lot of the Great Devourer from 2012. Like back when that set came out, I remember being really excited to get it as a kid, having a lot of fun playing with it, but also wishing it was a bit bigger. Because the Great Devourer and Wojira are these massive beasts in the show, and they're downscaled a lot for the sets. Like back in the day, while I liked the Ultra Dragon, I wish the Great Devourer was the entire set. I really didn't care about the Ultra Dragon. I would have preferred to get a large Great Devourer. And I feel the same way now. Like, I like the temple build and everything, but if we could have gotten a $100 full-scale Wojira, that would have been way cooler. But for what this build is, I think she's alright. Her face uses the same exact colors as the Overlord Dragon, right? Black and gold. The printing on her eyes is different, obviously. She's got Wojira-looking printing on her eyes with teal and red. And then she's got this little spike coming out of her chin. Her forehead has 2 more of those little teeth pieces as horns. And there's like a stickered spotted piece behind them. 2 more larger golden horns behind that, and then there's these tooth pieces. If you push back on these, it opens up her mouth. That's a really funny bit of movement. You can just push back on these teeth and she can just scream like really wide. Of course, in that open mouth, you can fit a minifigure if you want. So you can have her be chomping down on whomever you desire. You've got these 2 teal coral pieces on top of the head for detailing. I think these are awesome. It really fits that whole aquatic look that Wojira is going for, while also being really unique, right? Because you don't see this used on a ton of different builds. You also have the little gold tooth pieces coming out, which is awesome. The head itself's on a little ball joint. You can move up and down side to side. Along the side, you can see that there's some more stickered pieces with that scaled detailing, and those 3 stickers exist on both sides. The upper part of her neck's also on a rigid Technic joint, so if you want, you can make her like scream into the air. Like, this is a real option with the set, which I think is really funny. You can also angle it backwards if you wanted, though that doesn't make much sense. She do be kinda acrobatic though. Moving her back to her regular position, though, you can also see around the sides you have two of these tiny little fins right here. Wojira did have these in the show, and while they're very small, I appreciate how you can still move them on ball joints, so that just gives you a few more options with her. Below that is the mechanism to knock off the gold chains, and around the front they use a lot of the Master of the Mountain armored pieces for texturing. You can see right here's where the wave amulet's attached, and if you guys have seen the show, that is not where the wave amulet attaches in the show. Both of the amulets go on Wojira's forehead, so it's a bit unfortunate that they weren't able to do that here. I don't think it would be impossible to customize her to have both of the amulets on her forehead, but yeah, by default, neither of them go on her forehead. You get one right here, and the other one doesn't really have a place for it. And this is just connected with a robot arm piece. You can move it down, move it up, or you can completely remove it. And if you've never seen that before, there's how that looks. It's the sparkly blue color. It's a really cool part. I prefer the Storm Amulet, but this one's still pretty nice. Then coming around the back of the body into the tail, you can see they use some teal tentacle pieces just to show that curve in her body. Around the back, some more stickered teal scales. Then we come to a ball joint which moves into the tail, so obviously as it's a ball joint, you can move this back and forth, up and down. And then at the very end, we have a mini ball joint with some more of these wing pieces out the back for like the tip of her tail. As a whole, I feel mostly underwhelmed by Wojira. I like her enough, I'm happy I have her, but it's the same thing with the Great Devourer, where this was the one chance to make this character, and it could have been so much more. She's got the face shape, she's got the body shape, I love having little wings and everything, but there's a little too many exposed studs and exposed Technic for me to like, right? You got Technic right there, studs right here. She doesn't feel like as organic as I feel she could. Looking at sets like Fire Fang, like I know how they can do creatures, so it disappoints me to see that for such like an important character in the show, they didn't do that here. But that's me being really cynical. She really isn't bad. She's solid for what she is, and she's probably a really great toy. It's just the display collector in me would have preferred a $100 Wojira set, rather than a little $30 Wojira within a $100 set. But she's not the final build in the set, so now let's move on to the next one. The only other build in this set is this build right here, Kai's little submarine pod. And I don't have too much to say about this. This is exactly the same as all the other submarine pods in the other two sets they come in. Just this time around it's got the colors for Kai rather than the colors for Cold Lloyd or Zane. But you can see you have a sticker of Kai's symbol in orange on the side. Very similar sticker on the other side. Spinner crown has a propeller out the back. Two gold machetes protruding out the front, and then the Legacy Boulder Blaster windshield piece dual molded in trans blue and gold. Opening that up, you can see that's where you can sit Kai, and there's how it looks actually riding the vehicle. The nice thing about these little subs is you can actually fit the Ninja in. The nice thing about these subs is you can actually fit the Ninja in with their flippers, which is pretty cool. But yeah, not much else to say about this one. If you guys want to see my more in-depth thoughts on these subs as a whole, go check out my Water Dragon review, where I reviewed the Zane pod. That was the first one of these I reviewed, so I gave my most in-depth thoughts there. But now let's move on to the minifigures. But before I do, real quick, just want to mention that these three minifigures all come with flippers. Kai comes with black flippers, and the two Hydro Whippers come with teal flippers. Flippers just don't display well in my current minifigure review setup, so I'm showing you them here before moving over there. But now that you've seen them, let's move over there. So here are the first two minifigures in the set. We have NRG Nya and we have Scuba Kai. NRG Nya I first talked about in my Water Dragon review, but she is one of the best Ninjago minifigures of this year, and probably one of the best Ninjago minifigures of all time. She is breathtaking, especially with all these attachments on her. I love the little water tendrils coming out. These can each be moved individually, and you can have them like punch out, or you can have them like flowing up from the ground. This like ghost tail piece that was originally introduced in the hidden side works so well here. It looks great on her. She has the Marvel Power Blast pieces in trans blue, and then her hair piece is awesome. She has it like tied up in a ponytail, but the hair itself is this sparkly trans blue color, the same one that's used on the Wave Amulet, and it looks incredible. Like genuinely, I'm just blown away by how nice this figure looks. There she is with the ninja mask removed, and personally I think that looks far, far better. You can see that intricate face print. It's really sharp, really detailed. Lots of different colors of blue used. There's a very subtle one like underneath the chin, which you guys might not even be able to see. But yeah, this figure is breathtaking. Like genuinely just looks so, so good. These little water tendrils attached to her body with this little attachment on her back. This is the Outrider attachment from LEGO Marvel. Here she is with all the attachments removed though. My only complaint with her is the printing cuts off like right before the feet. You won't see this most of the time because you don't see it when she's got like the ghost tail attached, but it doesn't look great when you don't have it attached, so I really wish that didn't cut off right there. But the printing looks great. You can see that there's this wave just crashing up around her body. Her one arm is just turned completely into water. Yeah, she looks genuinely incredible. I am in love with this figure. It's so, so good. The back torso print, also great. You can see you got Nya's symbol right there, and then like a whirlpool swirling around it with this like silver color, this brighter blue color, and then the more dark blue. Genuinely just an incredible minifigure. I love it so much. I could talk about it forever, but I will chill out about it now and move on to Kai. Scuba Kai is not one of the best ones, but not the worst one either. I still really like the figure. I especially like the silver printing like up at the top right there. Gives him a really cool look. I don't feel super passionate about this figure one way or another, but I definitely do really like this one. If you haven't seen the scuba attachments before, they're all one piece. The mask connects into the air tank, which connects into the belt. And it can also hold a katana if you want. I personally feel this is a little unnecessary, but it's an option if you want. He's got a little bit of bright orange printing underneath that metal bit, which does look good. It's just Kai's used that color before. It looks way cooler on the other ninja who haven't used that color before. And I really like the dark red in his belt and on his knee pads. There he is with the scuba gear removed, and there's Nya without her hair and Kai without his mask. You can see the full extent of Nya's head printing right there. Wow, that just looks incredible, doesn't it? And there they both are from the back. No alternate face on Nya, and there's Kai's alternate face as well as his back torso printing. Next, we have the brothers, Benthomaar and Kalmaar. Benthomaar is exclusive to this set, and I adore this minifigure too. Another one of my favorites of this year, just genuinely so good. I'm so happy we got a Benthomaar minifigure because he was a very big character in the show, and I was worried we wouldn't get him physically, but we did, and he looks great. He's entirely sand blue with this gold and bronze printing for his armor. And then he's got the LEGO Batman movie Joker hair in black, which is a super cool part. Glad to see that part's not retired. My only kind of complaint with him is the face print. I don't think this super wide smile fits Benthomaar perfectly, but it's also, like, not bad. We've gotten face prints previously, like Scott from Prime Empire, where the face print didn't match Scott at all. While this isn't the face print I would choose for Bentho, it still looks like Bentho, so I don't mind so much. He also comes with a staff weapon, which has like a golden tentacle coming out, and he's got a clip on his back to attach that to if you don't want him to be holding it. So there's how it looks attached to his back, and there's how it looks on the front with it on his back. Kalmaar comes in 2 other sets, so I've talked about him before, but in short, I really like him. The eyes could be better, they could be more accurate to the show, but I don't mind how they are. Love the gold chains all up his torso, love the gold armor, I love the shaping of the head, the mustache looks great, and the all-new tentacle body piece is really cool too. Much better than the older one, and I really appreciate that they made a new body piece just for Kalmaar. Here they both are with accessories removed as well as Kalmaar's head removed, so that way you can get a better look at his torso. And there they are from the back. They both have golden armor on the back, and you can see Benthomaar's alternate face is very angry. I think this face fits Bentho better than the smiling face. Neither are perfect for him. I would have preferred a closed mouth smile, but again, I think it captures him well enough and better than some of the other like side character minifigures, so I can't complain too much. Next we have 2 Hydro Whippers, or Maaray Guards as some people may call them, and this will be my 5th time talking about these, so I won't spend too long on them, but in short, I love them. This head mold very goofy, but it's an awesome reuse of the Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu Pyro Whipper head. The solid teal instead of transparent teal gives them a really cool and unique look that separates them from those previous snakes. Love the weapons with the black dragon hilts and the tentacle or set coming out. Gold Mystery armor looks cool, and I like the teal and gold on their torso and legs. And there's how the torso looks with the head removed. And there's a look at the back torso print with the head removed. And then the final minifigure in the set is a Hydro Whipper, but he's just simply built different. This guy is so funny. I love this guy so much. So this is Glutinous, and I'm so happy we got him as a minifigure. He uses the same exact Hydro Whipper head, but he has an all-new torso piece. This torso piece has gold armor with these valves coming out, and then a gold arm right here. His accessory is a magnifying glass, which if you guys have never seen this before, LEGO magnifying glasses actually work. They do actually magnify whatever they're looking at. Glutinous has like these 6 robot legs that all have like little tentacles coming out of them, and then this little battery pack in the back, which is made from a Harry Potter lantern piece with a gem coming out of it, which is really cool. And if you're curious, here's how Glutinous's torso looks without the head attached to it, and there's how it looks in the back. Very similar to the regular Hydro Whipper like back torso print, just a little more detailed. As a whole, I love this guy. I wish he had the magnifying glass as like a little arm coming out like he did in the show rather than just like holding it in his hand, but I think this is a fine compromise and I'm just happy we got him as a minifigure at all. He's super goofy, so much fun, and a really great character in the show, so I'm so glad we got him physically. And then also, even though this isn't a minifigure, the set also comes with this manta ray. This guy comes in one other set, but he's really cool. He's absolutely massive. Like, the size of this guy shocked me when I first took him out of the box. But he's a ton of fun. He's got bright red eyes and this dark blue printing. 2 studs at the top, you want to have someone, like, ride him like a surfboard. His tail is also a bar, so it can be grabbed from the back. And he also has anti-studs underneath, so you can, like, connect him to a build. Not much else to say about this one. He's a fun extra inclusion. I like him. So, overall, would I recommend this set? This set is unfortunately not as strong as I wished it would be. It reminds me a lot of the Temple of the Forsaken Emperor from Secrets of Forbidden Spinjitzu in 2019. And that, like, it has a lot of good elements, but they feel too spread out, so the final product just doesn't really feel like $100. And that set, too many parts went to the Ice Dragon that the Temple didn't feel like enough. Well, in this set, I feel like too many parts went to the Temple that Wojira doesn't feel like enough. The temple itself is really good, it just doesn't feel like a $100 temple, and Wojira herself is fine, but feels like she really needs to be bigger. And as a whole, it just feels a little bit mishmashed. But those are my criticisms of the set. In the end, it is still pretty well done. I love all the different parts of the temple, and I love how they can be rearranged. I think that's really fun for play. Color scheme of the temple is perfect. I love how they use teal so much. The main center of the temple is definitely the highlight. Tons of room for figures and tons of different things to play with. And then in terms of minifigures, this set's probably the best of the wave. If you count Wojira as a character, then Glutinous, Wojira, and Benthomaar are all exclusive to the set, and all of them play like major roles in the show. But then you also get Kalmaar and NRG Nya, who are both really important to the show, just not exclusive. It could have done with like one more ninja figure, because I think the fact that Kai is the only Scuba Ninja in a $100 set is a little bad, but it's not a huge deal, and if you get other sets, you'll get plenty of the Scuba Ninja. So as a whole, yeah, I think I would recommend this set. I think this is one of those sets that's really good for Ninjago fans, but if you're just a LEGO fan who buys Ninjago on occasion, this isn't necessarily one you need. It's a fine set, just not exceptional. And I think for $100, there might be better options out there. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please press like and subscribe if you're new. I do LEGO and Ninjago videos like this every single day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!